Hello everyone, my name is Claudius Kazan. In this video, we continue talking about major scales. We'll see all the major scales with sharps, the ones on the right side of the circle of fifth. For the first time, you'll be introduced to the circle of fifth. I will also perform for you the number 21 from Robert Starr's Rhythmic Training book and Solfege number 16. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's continue talking about major scales with sharps. Last time we took a look at G major. And you remember we arrived at G major by starting in the key of C, starting on the fifth scale degree and stringing all the notes up. And we ran into a little bit of an issue at scale degree number 7. And we found out that we needed a leading tone. Okay, the leading tone is one step away from the tonic. So if we start on G and we go G, A, B, C, D, E, F, F to G was a whole step. All right, so we ended up bumping the F to an F sharp and taking that F sharp and putting it in the key signature. Remember that special place in the beginning of every staff? That's called the key signature. And now we ended up with one sharp in the key signature, and we call that the key of G. I'm going to go to the piano and refresh your mind a little bit about this. So, if we go, this is your C scale. It has a leading tone, right, from B to C. And then we went 5, the perfect fifth up from C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And we started our scale on G. We needed to bump that F to an F sharp to create the leading tone because F to G, if I leave it natural, is a whole step. So, all right, so if we need to be in the key of G, we need to take that F sharp and move it into the key signature, okay? And now we are legitimately in the key of G. So the key of G has one sharp in that key signature, and that sharp is F sharp. Okay? Now, I'm wondering, this is another slide that I borrowed from last time. Okay? You can see key of C has no sharps, no flats in the key signature. We go up by fifth to the key of G, and we add one sharp in the key signature, and that sharp is F sharp. Okay? Let's see if we continue the same concept. And let's see where we arrived, okay? Let's say that we're in the key of G right now, okay? So we have one sharp in the key signature. We move up a fifth, G, A, B, C, D, all right? And we start our scale on pitch D. However, remember, we have to keep that sharp, okay? That sharp comes from the key signature of G. So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C to D, it's going to be a whole step again. But if I take that C and bump it up to C sharp, I can create another leading tone there in the key of D. All right? And take that sharp and move it into the key signature. Now I have two sharps in the key signature. F sharp, that comes from the key of G, the original key where I started, and the new key now having C sharp, okay, as the leading tone. All right, so you can see here on the tablet how I started on pitch D on my tonic. Remember the tonic, okay? And I needed to create a leading tone, okay? Leading tone must be only one half step away from the tonic, and I needed to bump that C to a C sharp, but I took that C sharp, I moved it into a key signature. So right now, my key signature has two sharps, okay? So D major, okay, or the key of D, notice the capital D there, okay, has two sharps in the key signature, and it sounds like this. You can see that I have to play F sharp. That comes from the key of G, right, the previous key. And the new sharp that I've added, which is the C sharp, so I can create the leading tone. All right? Very good. Excellent. Now, this is all in good. We can draw some conclusions right now, right? That if I start on my 5th degree on any scale, right, and build another scale from there, add the keys, add the leading tone sharp into the key signature, I arrived at my next key with sharps. Okay, so let's take a look at the circle of fifth. The circle of fifth is a wonderful schematic here of how all these scales tie together. Okay, the circle of fifth is modeled on the traditional clock face. Okay, everybody knows about the traditional clock with 12 o'clock up on top and 6 o'clock on the bottom and all these other numbers in between. Okay, and we play C major. C major is the key that has no sharps or flats in the key signature at the 12 o'clock position. Okay, and you can see that right in there. At the 1 o'clock position, we have G major. G major was the first key with sharps. All right, and that sharp is F sharp. Notice one thing about the, let's talk a little bit about the circle of fifth generally, okay? You will notice in here that you have two sets of letters. The ones with the capital, the ones in capital letters, those are your major keys, okay? And the ones with lowercase in the inner part of the circle. I want you guys to ignore those for now. We'll talk about this when we talk about the minor scales. But right now, we'll just concentrate on the major ones, the ones on the outside with the capital letters. Okay? And today, we only focus on the ones on the right side of the circle. Okay? You can see C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, and we have to go a little bit farther down to C sharp as well. Okay, I'll highlight all of these for you, and you'll see exactly what's going on. But just let's start up on the top here with C major. Okay, I highlighted the C major. You can see that it has no sharps or flats in the key signature, right? And then by the interval of a perfect fifth, you saw that from last time, we arrive at G, right? C, D, E, F, G. C to G is a perfect fifth. So every time we move up the circle of fifth, all right, well, it's actually moving down this way, but we say we move up because we go up by fifth. We add one sharp, okay? And that sharp, in the case of the keys with sharps, major keys with sharps, it's always that new leading tone that you have to create, okay? So in the case of the G major, just go down a half step from G and you find F sharp. That F sharp is your sharp that needs to go into the key signature. Okay? So it's really easy. For the keys with sharps, find the tonic, the most important note, go down a half step. That's your leading tone. That's the new sharp that needs to go into the key signature. Okay? So in the case of G, F sharp is the first sharp, needs to go into the key signature. So G major has one sharp in the key signature. Okay, let's take G with one sharp and let's go up another fifth. G, A, B, C, D, right? So G to D is a perfect fifth. D is my new tonic, going down a minor second, right, or a half step. I reach C sharp. That C sharp is my new accidental or the new leading tone that needs to go into the key signature. So C sharp, it's the new sharp that needs to go into the key signature. So now I end up with two sharps in the key signature. F sharp, that comes from G, right? And the new one, C sharp, okay? That's why you can see in here, okay, your G, one sharp, and in here, D major has two sharps in the key signature, F and C. And the only place to put a C on the staff itself, it's right there on the second space, okay? So that's a constant. You'll always see C sharp in there in the key signature, okay? And let's go through the exercise again before we highlight the next key. You're in the key of D. You have 2 sharps in the key signature. Let's go up another fifth from D. D, E, F, G, A. All right? D to A is a perfect fifth. Okay? And what's the leading tone in A? Well, 1/2 step lower than A is G sharp. So G sharp is the new accidental that needs to go into the key signature, and that's my leading tone as well. So A major has 3 sharps in the key signature. What are they? F sharp, that's the first one coming from G, remember, G major. C sharp was the new one in D major, and now in our new key we have G sharp as well. Notice where they put that G sharp. The G sharp, it's actually put right above the staff. Remember I said that music pretty much started out as being vocal music, and a lot of the notes were on the lower part of the staff, and they wanted to put all these sharps in a very conspicuous place up on top. That's why G sharp ends up there. Okay? It's still not on a ledger line. Remember, it's right above the staff, but it's not on a ledger line, so it's good. Instead of putting it down on the 4th line, they like to put it on the space right above the staff there. Okay, so you can see how the sharps begin to stagger a little bit. One is down here, one is lower, the other one's higher, and so on. Okay, excellent. So A major, I'll play A major for you, and follow me at the piano, and I will show you that A major has 3 sharps in the key signature. Okay. Okay, the new one is the G sharp because I need the leading tone, right? I did not have that in D major. In D major, I only had 2, C sharp and F sharp. But for A major, I need 1 more so I can create my leading tone. And that's the one that goes into the key signature. So A major. Right? Remember, I need to keep that arrangement of whole steps and half step going. The whole, half, whole, half. All right, so we're in key of A. Let's go another perfect fifth up and see where we end up. So we start on A, B, C, D, E. A to E, yes, it is a perfect fifth. So now I'm talking about E major. Remember, I need to go down a half step to find out the leading tone. The leading tone is D sharp, all right? And that D sharp is the new sharp that goes into the key signature. And right now I end up with 4 sharps. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp coming from prior keys, and now the new one, D sharp. And again, notice where they put the D sharp. D sharp, it's best if it's put on the 2nd line there. That's the best D to put it on. The other D would be under the staff, but we want to keep them pretty much grouped together on the top. Okay? So E major, I'll play you E major now. You can see that it has 4 sharps. Okay? The new sharp is the D sharp, the new leading tone that went last into the key signature, right? Okay, excellent. So you can see now how all these keys are related. We take the 5th degree of one scale, we build a scale, we put the leading tone in, right? And we take that and put it into the key signature as the last sharp. All right, let's go one more. We're in the key of E, right? We have 4 sharps, E, F, G, A, B. E to B is another perfect fifth. So B major will have 5 sharps in the key signature, right? There you go. The new sharp is A sharp, right? Because we need the leading tone. The leading tone to B is A sharp. And the best place to put that A sharp is right there on the 3rd space, unfortunately. It's getting a little lower, but that's the only A where I can put a sharp without using a ledger line. All right, so there you go. A sharp is on the 4th space from the top. Okay, B major. B major sounds like this. Notice one thing, that I've used already all black keys on the piano because I have all 5 sharps right now. So it's C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp are all taken now by B major. Okay? All right, let's see. Let's move on. We still have a couple of them that we could still use, right? There's 7 pitches in the scale. We only sharpened 5 of them up to this point. Okay? So let's go on from B, another perfect fifth up. And this is got to be very careful now. B, C, D, E, F. B to F is not a perfect fifth. All right? You can go to the piano and see. B to F is a diminished fifth. So in order to create a perfect fifth, we need to raise the F to an F sharp. Okay? So my new key here is a key that starts on a sharpened note. That's F sharp major. Okay? F sharp major needs its own leading tone. And what's a half step lower than F sharp? It's E sharp. You're going to say, well, E sharp, it's enharmonic with F natural. Yes, but we cannot use F twice. We cannot use F natural and then go to F sharp, right? We need 7 pitches in the scale, so therefore, we're going to have to sharpen the E to an E sharp. That's why these scales are getting a little more complex to perform, a little more difficult to perform, because you have to start using enharmonic notes, and you need a little bit of a brain power to process that. Okay, F sharp major sounds like this. Okay. 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 So F sharp major has 6 sharps in the key signature, and the new sharp, as you saw, is E sharp, and that goes on the first space in the key signature. All right. Plus, we try to keep them together pretty much, but you can see how they start staggering in a kind of a weird way right now. Up, down, down, up, and so on. Okay. So remember, F sharp major has 6 sharps in the key signature. Okay. Good. Let's. So right now we have 6 notes that we have sharpened, right? We still have one more that we can do, and let's go up from F sharp, another perfect fifth. F, G, A, B, C. Well, F sharp to C, it's not a perfect fifth, but if I go F sharp to C sharp, then I have my perfect fifth, right? F sharp to C sharp, it's the perfect fifth. So my new key with sharps is going to start on C sharp, okay? And what's the leading tone to C sharp? Leading tone to C sharp, it's another note that can be spelled enharmonically. That's B sharp. Okay, and again, but we can't spell it as regular C because we need 7 pitches in the scale. So we have to bump it up to C to B sharp. Okay, so B sharp to C sharp. So C sharp major with 7 sharps in the key signature sounds like this. Okay, excellent. You're going to come back to me and say, well, C sharp major, can we spell it as something else? Everything it's sharped in there. Do we really use these keys? Yes, we do, quite a bit. Maybe not as much as the other ones because it's simpler to perform, but composers have modulated or changed keys to these keys occasionally. All right, they're a little extreme in there, but they're still playable and they're still fine. You will see later on when we talk about the keys with flats, how you might switch to a key with flats instead of playing C sharp major. Remember, C sharp major has all the pitches sharp, right? It has 7 sharps in the key signature. That means that all our pitches are sharp. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, all with sharps. Wouldn't it be easier, for example, to use D flat major because it's an enharmonic key? It probably is. And a lot of composers are doing exactly that. If theoretically they need to modulate to C sharp major, for example, they might actually rewrite everything in D flat major. Why? Because it's easier to perform, to play, to sing, to think about. Okay? But just remember, C sharp major, F sharp major, all these keys with many sharps are still keys that are being used. All right? So don't be surprised if you actually see pieces written specifically for these high sharp count keys. All right? Good. So let's quickly recapitulate in here the major keys with sharps. Okay? We started with C major, no sharps, no flats, at the 12 o'clock position up on top. And then we moved by the way of the perfect fifth to G major. Right? We added one sharp in the key signature, and that was F sharp, and that's at the 1 o'clock position. All right? Now, then we added another fifth. We went up by another fifth to D major. We added yet another sharp in the key signature, and that was our C sharp, right, at the 2 o'clock position. Now, at the 3 o'clock position, we got to A major, 3 sharps, F, C, and G, okay, in the key signature. Remember, your new sharp, it's always your leading tone in the case of the keys with sharps, okay? From A, we went to E at the 4 o'clock position, all right, with 4 sharps in the key signature. And then B with 5 sharps in the key signature. And then F sharp major, remember, you have to go by a perfect fifth, so B to F sharp is a perfect fifth. F sharp major with 6 sharps in the key signature, and C sharp major finally with 7 sharps in the key signature. Okay? This is something that you guys will have to memorize. This is very, very important. If you have good photographic memory, it's easy to just photograph this chart and always refer to it. Otherwise, I could probably offer a little bit of a shortcut here. Remember, C major has no sharps, no flats. That's your 12 o'clock key right there. C sharp major, on the other hand, all the notes are sharped. So from C, no sharps, no flat, C sharp, all sharps. Okay, 7 sharps in other words. Okay, so it's easy to remember those two. Okay, now remember, if you were to remember anything from here, remember probably the first 3 or 4. Okay, G, D, A, and E. If you remember those really, really well, you're good for now, because a lot of the music is written in those keys. All right, especially more basic music and so. And very rarely you'll see something in B major, F sharp major, and so on, okay? C sharp major, okay? But remember these, G, D, A, and E at least. Yes, you have B to remember as well, but, you know, those keys are a little more out there, and you probably won't be faced with those, especially in your more basic studies and so, okay? So really make sure that you understand the circle of fifth. Once we end talking about all the keys, you will see exactly why we call it a circle and why it's actually not a circle. Okay, it's more of a spiral. You know, you can come to me and say, "Yeah, but can we continue? Can we continue going on? For example, can I go on from C sharp major and go another perfect fifth up from C sharp?" Yes, you can. Let's see, just theoretically right now. C sharp to G sharp would be another perfect fifth. So G sharp major, okay, would be my new key. What would be the leading tone in G sharp? The leading tone in G sharp would be F double sharp. Okay, F double sharp to G sharp. All right, so another theoretic key in here would be G sharp major. What would be the key signature of G sharp major? Would have a double sharp in the place of F, and all the other notes would be sharp as well. Okay, So you can, and then you can go to D sharp major and A sharp major and E sharp major and so on, and you can add double sharps instead of regular sharps. So you can see that this is really not so much of a circle, but it is more of a spiral that goes on and on and on indefinitely. You can add triple sharps and you can all do that. It's not happening, right? But these are just theoretic scales. I think there are a few composers out there that try to prove this point by writing music in G sharp major, for example. Oh, it's terrible. Why G sharp major when you can write the same music in A flat major and be done with it and only use 4 flats, all right? So they just wanted to prove a point that it can be done, and it's a legitimate key at the end of the day, right? You can do it, but it's not practical at all, okay? Great, very good. Let's do a little bit of exercises with these keys in here. And these are the exercises that I want you guys to be able to perform in the homework and so on. Let's assume right now that we're in the key of G, okay? Key of G has what? 1 sharp in the key signature. You can see it on the tablet, right? G major, it's a major key, that's why the capital G, okay? Please change the key signature to the dominant key and write the tonic, the subdominant, and the leading tone notes. Okay, let's take it step by step. Step number 1, change the key signature to the dominant key. What's the dominant key? Okay, if you remember last time, the dominant was the pitch on the 5th degree, okay? One of the most important pitches in the key, okay? So if you're in G major, your tonic is G. What's your dominant? Dominant is G, A, B, C, D, is your D, right? So D, the pitch of D, is the new pitch that you have to start the new scale on, okay? In other words, the key of D is the dominant key of G, okay? So if you hear the term the dominant key is the key that's built on the 5th degree of that scale, okay? So if you're in G again, go up 5, G, A, B, C, D, and D major, the key with 2 sharps, would be your dominant key. So we have to change the key signature to 2 sharps this time, right? Because that's the dominant key in the key of G, which has only 1 sharp. And let's write in the tonic. Well, the tonic is D, of course, okay? Now, what's the subdominant? Subdominant is the 4th degree, so D, E, F, G, okay? And the leading tone. What's the leading tone in D? It's C sharp, okay? So when I go to my next tablet page here, I should see key signature 2 sharps and pitches D, G, and C sharp, okay, as the notes. Let's see. There you go. 2 sharps, the tonic D, the subdominant G, and the leading tone C sharp, okay? You don't have to write the C sharp, of course, because it's taken care of for you in the key signature, okay? So this would be a proper resolution to this, to that question. Okay, let's do one more. Let's say that we are in the key of B. Oh boy, look at all those sharps in there. We have 5 sharps, right? It says, please change the key signature to the subdominant key and write in the tonic, the subdominant, and the leading tone. Okay, now, we're in the key of B. What's the subdominant? The subdominant is the 4th degree, right? Dominant is 5th, subdominant is the 4th. So the subdominant key in B is B, C, D, E. So E major, okay, is my subdominant key. It's really easy. When you move to the dominant, you add a sharp. When you move to the subdominant, since you're going down by 5th, you take away 1 sharp. So E major, right, which is my subdominant key, only has 4 sharps instead of 5. The sharps never change. They always stay F, C, G, D, A, and so on in that order, right? So if I move to the subdominant key and I'm using only 4 sharps, my sharps are F, C, G, and D. So I'm taking away the last one, the A major, okay? So 4 sharps in the key signature. Now, let's write in the tonic. The tonic is E, right? What's my subdominant in that new key? So E, F, G, A, okay? And the leading tone is D sharp, okay? Let's see if that's the correct answer. And here you go. Tonic is E, subdominant A, and leading tone D sharp, all right? But you don't have to say that because it's taken care for you in the key signature. Notice one thing, it's kind of interesting. When you switch key signatures, by the way, you can switch key signatures in the middle of the line if you need to, okay? If your piece modulates or goes directly into a new key, you can switch the key signature. And when you need to take away sharps, for example, you're moving to a key with fewer sharps than the key you were just in, you state the natural one first. Okay? In other words, in order to take away that A sharp, you put a natural sign in the key signature. Kind of weird, right? And then you restate all the other sharps. Okay? This is one way of doing it, by the way. Some people actually just state the new key signature without taking care of putting naturals for the notes that you're taking away. But I think this is the right way to do it. All right, so you're putting a natural sign in the key signature that pretty much takes away the A in this case, and you restate your new key signature F, C, G, and D. All right, very good. Let's do one more, and we're done for today. Let's say that you're in the key of A. Okay, 3 sharps. Change the key signature to the dominant key and write in the tonic, the dominant, and the submediant. Okay, so you have to think a little bit here. Okay, key of A, going to the dominant key, so we're adding a sharp, right? What's the 4th sharp in the key signature? You can learn key signatures like this. They always come in the same order. Okay, so F, C, G. What's the next sharp in the key signature? D, right? So if you're in the key of A, you're moving to the key of E. Your key of E is the key with 4 sharps this time. All right, leading tone will be D sharp. That needs to go into the key signature. So your last sharp there is your D sharp. So F, C, G, and D in the key signature. Okay, write in your tonic. Tonic is E, of course. What's your dominant? Dominant's a 5th up from E, which is B, right? And the submediant. Where's the submediant? If you remember from last time, your submediant, it's on the 6th degree. So it's really easy. Take your dominant, go 1 pitch up from there, but stay in that key, and you found your submediant. So if my dominant is B, C sharp, it's my submediant. All right, let's see if this is true. And here you go, 4 sharps in the key signature, E tonic, B dominant, C sharp, submediant. Okay, this kind of exercise will be in your homework. And this will really make you think about dominant keys, subdominant keys, and all the scale degrees and their names that we talked about last time. Okay, very good. Remember the circle of fifth. Very important stuff. If you can remember those, and remember them by pretty much taking a mental picture of the circle itself, with C at the 12 o'clock position, and then G, and then D, and then A, and then E, and B, and F sharp, and C sharp. Okay? Moving clockwise. We're moving clockwise right now with the keys with sharps. Next time, we're going to talk about the keys with flats, the major keys with flats, and we'll be moving counterclockwise, okay? And we'll see how those relate to each other. We still talk about dominant keys and subdominant keys, and that's how they relate to each other. All right? Very good. Hope you understood this. If you didn't, please rewind and go through the material again. I want you guys to be really proficient with a circle of fifths. So when I am in a particular key and I'm mentioning the dominant key, immediately you know, oh yeah, dominant key, I have to move up a fifth, and that's my dominant. Or if I move to the subdominant key, I move down a fifth, okay? Not up a fourth. Don't think that way. Think down a fifth, okay, from that particular key. All right, good. Next time, major keys with flats. Excellent. Let's move on and talk about the Robert Starr Rhythmic Training exercise number 21. Okay, let me pick up my metronome, and let's set the metronome to 90, my favorite metronome marking here. And I'm performing now the exercise number 21 from Robert Starr's Rhythmic Training book. Okay, and this has to do with eighth notes, if you remember. All right, this is kind of long, but I decided to perform the entire thing since you might need some help in here. It's written in 3/4, so we conduct on the 3/4 model. All right, you have some things tied over the bar line. You have some syncopations in here. You have some eighth note rest followed by eighth notes and things like that. So the important thing is here is to pick up a tempo and continue be able to perform through the entire exercise without any mistakes, at least twice, right? So here we go. This is at 90. And here we go. Oh, notice one other thing. This one starts with an incomplete measure, right? Or a pickup bar. You can see in there how Mr. Starr actually prepares you with 2 quarter notes before, but it really, this one starts, your performance starts on an upbeat, leading to the downbeat on the next measure, okay? So here we go. Ta 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 da da, da da, da da, da da da, da da, da da, da da, da da da, da 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 da. Da 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 da. All right, quite a long one, right? Well, it's long because he wants you to be able to concentrate. This is like performing a regular piece of music and sight reading, right? Some pieces of music go for a lot longer than this. Okay, and you have to keep performing, you have to keep playing, be focused, all right, so you don't miss a beat, all right? So I hope you guys came up to pretty much the same kind of a performance in here. So that was number 21, okay? For next time, I'd like you guys to take a look at number 22, okay? Number 22 is in 4/4, so it's not too difficult. Okay, same kind of concept as the one in 3/4. And to take a look at number 23 as well. Number 23 is going to be a little more difficult. Why? Because it's written in 5/4. All right, and he does the same thing again with that fake bar line, the dotted bar line. Shows you how he would like you to conduct, either on the formula of 3 and then 2, or 2 and 3. So you have to split that 5/4 in two ways, okay, and conduct properly. So I'll let you guys figure it out. And so next time, 22 and 23 from the Robert Starr's Rhythmic Training book. Great. let's concentrate on solfege exercise number 16 that was assigned to you last time. Okay, number 15 and 16 was assigned. I always perform the more difficult of the two. Okay, in the set. So this is number 16. There's multiple challenges on this one. Okay, first of all, it's quite fast. The metronome says allegro, and it says C120. C120 means circa 120. So around 120. If you bring it down to 110, it's fine. If you do it a little faster than 120, it's great again. But you should stay around 120. Okay. So that's what that C in there. And that matches the allegro metronome marking in there. Another challenge here is the fact that it's written in 5/4. I wrote it in 5/4 just to give you a little practice with conducting these odd meters like 5/4 and 7/4 and things like that. Okay, so you have to conduct either on the formula of 3 and 2 or 2 and 3, and I'm helping you again with that dotted bar line, right? The fake bar line in there. Okay. Another thing that it's fun to note here is this one's written in G major. Okay, so no more A minor and C major anymore. Now we have legitimate key signatures, right? You're learning in music theory about the circle of fifth and about all these keys. So I thought this would be a nice thing to do, is to give you something in a different key this time. So I picked G major, nothing too crazy. 1 sharp in the key signature, right? And we have to remember one thing. If you don't see a natural F in there, you must perform as an F sharp, as a constant. That's exactly why the key signature is there for you. But if you look in here, there's quite a few F naturals in there too. Okay, one on the end of first line, and there's another one at the end of the fifth line, and another one on the last line, and so on. So I'm constantly going back and forth between F sharp and F natural. Okay, just to keep you on your toes. And there's some other accidentals normally in there as well. So, challenges here, it's the meter, it's the fact that it's quite fast, and you have a constant F sharp to worry about in the key signature, but that's actually changing quite a little bit for you. You know, if you don't see an F natural as you go along, you must perform that F as an F sharp. Why? Because it's in the key signature. Okay, again, these are very difficult exercises for the sight reader, so you have to study these. You have to sound your pitches again on the piano. Okay, very important to go sol, re, sol, fa, la, sol. Notice that I played F sharp in there. Fa sharp, la, sol. Okay, we don't say fa sharp, but we sing the correct pitch. We just say fa. Okay, so sol, re, sol, fa, la, sol, mi, la, sol, fa, sol, re, si, re, sol, fa. Here's your fa natural in there, right? Mi, and so on. And it's a legitimate F natural, right? Not one in parentheses. It's not a courtesy accidental anymore. Why? Because it has to naturalize the note that exists as a constant in the key signature, right? So right now we have a legitimate F natural in there, and so on. Rhythm, not too difficult. It's maybe towards the end where you have a few syncopations in there. You have to be very careful, and so on. All right, let's see how we perform this. I'm going to put the metronome this time at 120. Okay. I'm not going to go any faster because I think 120 is fast enough. Okay. You guys can put it down at 110 or so. It's fine. Circa 120. It doesn't have to be quite as fast, but we do it. So you got to be very careful now how you conduct. Okay. Take a look at those measures that I've split you in there with the dotted bar line. Here we go. All right, 120. Okay, pitch to start with is this. G, right? I'm in G major, so this is my tonic chord. Just sound it in your ears, just so that you can perform this better with greater pitch accuracy. 1, 2.
Sol, re, sol, fa, la, sol, mi, la, sol, fa, sol, re, si, re, sol, fa, mi, do, si, do, re, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, mi, do, si, do, fa, la, sol, mi, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, si, mi, la, do, sol, si, mi, fa, mi, re, la, si, do, mi, sol, la, si, do, la, fa, mi, do, si, la, fa, sol, mi, do, re, fa, mi, la, si, do, mi, re, fa, sol.
All right, very difficult exercise. Let me do one thing for you guys. Okay, I can perform it at 120, but what if I bring it down to my regular 90 now? Okay, something that you can definitely do while you practice, and let's see if I can do a better job with all the pitches, sounding all the pitches. Okay. Oh, this is so much more manageable, right? 2, 3.
Sol, re, sol, fa, la, sol, mi, la, sol, fa, sol, re, si, re, sol, fa, mi, do, si, do, re, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, mi, do, si, do, fa, la, sol, mi, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, si, mi, la, do, sol, si, mi, fa, mi, re, la, si, do, mi, sol, la, si, do, la, fa, sol, la, mi, do, si, la, fa, sol, mi, do, re, fa, mi, la, si, do, mi, re, fa, sol.
Okay, so much better. Notice one thing here at the very, very end, the last measure. The way I wrote it in there, it's really up to you how you conduct, all right? Because I wrote it by combining all those beats and that dotted half note in there. You could conduct it on the 2-3 or the 3-2. It's really up to you. I did not put a dotted bar line because I can't put a dotted bar line. Why? Because I've combined all the pitches into one. So it's really up to you where you want to split that. I think in my first performance I split it first on the 2 and 3, but now I did it on the 3 and 2 when I went a little slower. So it's really up to you. Again, this is quite difficult, not for the sight reader. This is something that you practice, something that you get very familiar with. And if you want to perform it at 120, you almost have to memorize it. That's how much you have to practice it. Okay? Again, these are not pretty exercises. They're not meant to be pretty or something that it's very predictable and melodic and, oh, this is so pretty, I enjoy. No, this is not about enjoyment. This is all about exercise, hard work, sounding all the pitches, and a lot of them don't really make sense in context, okay? They jump from one to the other. There's no sense of tonal center too much in here. But you can see how, because of that F sharp, that G, that sol, really always sounds in your ear, okay? Interesting, very good. In my next video, guys, we're gonna finish talking about the major keys, okay? And we talk about the major keys with flats, the ones on the left side of the circle of fifth, okay? And I assigned you 2 more exercises from the Robert Starr, number 22 and 23. And of course, there's 2 more solfeges, number 17 and 18. Make sure that you ask for them at the classical music theory guy at gmail.com. Send me an email and I'll send you the PDFs, the 2 PDFs for the 2 solfeges, so you can start practicing and getting yourself familiar by next week with the 2 solfeges. All right? Excellent. Until next time, I want you guys to stay healthy and safe. See you when we talk about the left side of the circle of fifth. the major keys with flats. Be good.